Who are these people? Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to another episode of Angel in the Afternoon. I am Angel Rivera, and we have some esteemed panelists here tonight. Alex Knight and V from Deconstructing Topics Podcast. So, how we doing tonight before we get started?
Doing fine.
Good,
Doing
good.
doing legendary. Let's go.
Great. Glad to hear it. No Witchy this week. She's not able to join us, but hopefully she will join us Saturday for Pro Wrestling Talk, where we got a review, pay per view from last Saturday and preview Saturday night's main event next Saturday. So we're gonna be quite busy on Saturday. For now, the reason why I'm doing the show today instead of tomorrow is because tomorrow's 4th of July and it's impossible for me to do a show with all the fireworks and all the noise going to be out right outside my door here. So it got to be done today. So hope everybody, got the tweets and got my posts and got the updates. So let's get started then, because other than that, there's not much else for me to say. And oh yeah, I mean we're live on BitChute, we're live on Substack, we're live on all the platforms. So whatever platform you're on, I'm probably going to be live on. So like and subscribe if you haven't already. So let's see here. Hey, Witchy's here already. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't, make sure you like and subscribe because it's very important. I'm sure that I am shadow banned just like INN is. So yeah, make sure you do all that stuff. And if that's all it is, let's get started. So first we're gonna talk about Zohran Mamdani, whatever the fuck that guy's name is. He just won the
But
primary in New York.
before we
What?
get into that, do you want to just do a very short segment on the passing of Michael Madsen?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So Michael Madsen of Reservoir Dogs, and he also had a role in GTA 3. I mean, he's been a fan all over movies and stuff like that over the last like 40 years. I mean, he did pass away today. Apparently, I saw it this morning. It's like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, is he 67 or
67,
70?
yeah.
Yeah.
He's the king. He's the king of straight to the DVD.
Yeah.
with all due respect, we give him his flowers. What a legend in his own way. Cult classic though.
He
Yep.
was also in the Hateful Eight. I think that may have been his last big appearance.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, so rest in peace, Michael Madsen. Thank you for your performances. Reservoir Dogs, GTA 3 are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure there's plenty of other ones, but
Kill Bill, I remember.
Kill Bill, yeah. So
Yeah.
those. So yeah, let's. So I figured we would talk about "Don't Mess with the Zohan" first because D is from New York and he's a part of a union. So and we have the UAW endorsing Zohan really early, and they made a whole video bragging about how they were the first and blah blah blah. So I came across that video the other day. I'm like, it was 13 minutes, and I swear they did not come up with a single policy idea on why Zohan be better.
None?
Not one. Instead, it was like Obama style flowery rhetoric and we have so much hope. Like they used the word hope. Like it said it was terrible. It reminded me of like an Obama campaign commercial. It was like, we already did this bullshit 15 years ago. It didn't work then.
Right.
It didn't work. Not going to work now. So, hey Earl. Earl's here.
What's going on, Witch? Shout out to Witch.
Yeah. Shout out to Witchy. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here tonight, but at least she's in the chat.
Woo.
Yeah. So remember, yeah. In fact, last week we made a we made a I forget what it's called, a counter, because she likes to use what's this? She likes to use suck a dick a lot, so we made a counter even last week.
Uh-oh.
So unfortunately, we can't use it this week, but yeah. So there you go. This is the video I was talking
Here's my
about.
question. Why did you like the video?
Again, I wanted to find it somewhere where I could find it easier, not because I actually like it, but I
Well, you
needed
can
to
also
find
just,
it.
save
So-
it. You can also save
Oh, I keep forgetting to save it, But yeah, so how the UAW helped Zohran take on the New York political establishment and win the New York
Bad
the
cookies.
New York Democratic mayor primary, whatever.
Oh man.
No Witchy this time. She must be busy sucking at Grand Theft Auto.
Nah.
She's the voice actress for Lucia.
Yeah, so the UAW made their little virtue signaling video where they suck up to Zohan. I keep calling him Zohan. That's why I say don't mess with the
Zohran.
Zohan. But
Yeah, Zohran.
Yeah.
Sandami.
So I'm gonna keep screwing up his name, but whatever.
Is the quality
They
at a 480p or at least that quality?
I can't hear you. Did you say something to me or?
Make sure the quality is at like four at least at 480.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Somewhere on the settings.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we're good.
Okay.
Whoops.
Yep.
So this is. I'm gonna play through this, and we can pause it. You give our thoughts or whatever. About 12 minutes. They really virtue signal here and give me grandstanding bullshit. So.
Hey UAW Region 9A. I want to congratulate us all on an incredible victory on Tuesday night. Our 20,000 New York City UAW members got to work during this campaign. We knocked on doors, we phone banked, we talked to our coworkers, our neighbors, our families, as well as complete strangers. And because of all that time, energy, and effort that we put in, we can now say that Zohran Mamdani will be the Democratic nominee for mayor. I want to take a few minutes today to reflect on what we just accomplished and what's coming next. First, let's remember how this all got started. Back in October of last year, even before the election of Donald Trump in November, we knew the New York City mayor race was going to be a real chance to build a different kind of politics. When Trump won, our task became all the more urgent. We as a region had led labor in multiple letters against the Eric Adams administration, and as the corruption scandals and indictments broke,
Corruption.
So it would have been different if Kamala won.
Yes,
Right.
apparently so.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, the UAW didn't endorse Kamala. They stayed neutral, but still, I mean, a lot of their members
No,
voted.
I think
for Kamala.
you're thinking of what is it, Teamsters?
Oh no, it was the Teamsters. Right. You're right. Yeah, it wasn't UAW.
UAW endorsed Kamala.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're right. I knew one of the unions didn't endorse. They stayed neutral, but yeah. Okay, so somehow Zohran is supposed to beat the New York political corruption machine that's been around since before all of us were born. That's not going to happen. Zohran isn't going to do any of that. So already somehow he's better than Eric Adams. I don't know. I don't live in New York, but it seems like there's just Zohran, Eric Adams, Andrew Cuomo. It's really no difference between the
I mean,
three.
it's, the dirtiness and the shithole that is New York City. I mean,
Yeah, the political corruption there is insane. So
it is.
I just mean how like the city is dirty.
yeah. I mean, we
Damn,
all.
Alex, what's going on here? Okay.
Oh, come on, we love New York sports, but
New York
but
City.
I love New York, but you can't deny how dirty and
But
Well-
it needs
yeah,
help.
I mean, I can't really talk much. Living here in Trenton, we've had 2 out of the last 3 mayors have gone to prison. So
Wow.
for corruption. So it was so bad that the feds had to arrest them. Not, it's like federal corruption charge. That's how
Right.
bad it was here. So Eric Adams also been charged, and what his case was dismissed. I don't remember what happened to him, but yeah. So somehow Zohran's gonna fix all that. Let's see how.
we knew that 4 more years of Adams meant more of the same politics of corruption that we needed to get past. We had an opportunity to put forward a different vision. We involved hundreds of members to think about an alternative. That vision came to fruition with a politics, as Zohran has said, built on hope. In other words, a politics that puts our issues as working people first. Cost of living, housing, childcare, and transportation. To build this housing,
So
What?
cost of living, housing.
childcare, and transportation.
Okay.
To build this
No, he hasn't mentioned healthcare once.
It's funny, like ever since Biden won in in 2020, they just stopped talking about Medicare for all. It's like I can't believe it.
Right.
Oh, here is AOC, with Zohan, of course. So gotta tie ourselves to AOC, even though she's deeply unpopular. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Politics, we need a mayor that knew what side they were on. We need new elected leaders who are not afraid to pick a side. Politicians who will put
Unless when it comes to Israel, then they're definitely afraid to
Right.
pick a side.
workers over corporate donors every single time. The status quo, led by Democrats and Republicans alike, has
Oh, by the way, Zohan's a Democrat too.
Right.
So let's not, he's pretending that he's not a Democrat.
Just change the letter. You know
Yeah,
what I mean,
he does it throughout this video. Like, oh, we
Yes,
need a different type of politics. Zohan's different. We hate Democrats or Republicans, but he's a Democrat too. So, what the hell are we talking about here? This is a joke. So
not delivered for working class people. No one has had a solution, and few have even had any interest on stopping the race to the bottom. When President Sean Fain and I took office, we were clear that
fuck Sean Fain.
UAW endorsements would be earned, and we were done backing politicians that wouldn't support labor.
Unless it's Kamala, then they'll definitely
Right.
endorse her.
Exactly.
Our endorsement needed to mean something.
Now it needs to mean something, their endorsement. Unlike before, where it just handed to Kamala Harris. Now it means something. Now an endorsement has to mean something.
As members, we
That's
do
my
the work.
favorite rap, baby.
What's that big ass rat doing there? I just noticed that. Look at that.
Hey, that's my favorite rap, man.
As members, we do the work.
Union.
We take
Oh, wow.
on the boss.
We take on
We
the
march
boss.
on picket lines, and we organize our coworkers. But over and over again, we see politicians undermine us the first chance they get in the legislative halls of power.
Yeah, here's the thing. If, let's say, Cuomo or Adams would have won the primary instead, they'd be the first ones to endorse them.
Right.
So this is all virtue signaling. Like, oh, we were right from the beginning. See, we picked Zohan when he was at 2%, which they talk about later in the video.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, but you would have endorsed either of
It
these.
kind of
fuckers.
reminds me. I posted a little earlier today. I'm sure you saw my tweet, Angel, that one of the members from a majority report, I don't remember his name right now, but he was talking about, oh, interesting how Biden and Kamala decided Israel was more important on, how to, that it was more important than winning an election. And I retweet saying, yet you decided to vote for Kamala anyway.
Right.
Yeah, well, it's like they can't get past that hypocrisy.
So as members, we came to the conclusion that we needed a mayor that did two things. Number one, someone who showed up for the UAW, the labor movement, and workers when we need them.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, someone who would run on a pro-worker agenda that addressed our cost of living crisis. Through our historic democratic member-led process, our New York City CAP Council vetted the candidates, we held forums open to all members, and then every local we represent in the city voted on our strategy. At first, the result of this process was an unranked slate. This meant that in December of last year, we became proudly the first union to endorse Zohran Mamdani.
Wait, how does that work? I mean, it was a stalemate. So what he said, right?
First because you sold out to Democrats and Biden.
Process.
That's why you were the first one.
As a result,
Was an unranked slate.
unranked slate. So I'm assuming that means like a tie. They couldn't decide what to do.
This meant that in December of last year, we became proud
And somehow that led into endorsing Zohan here. So I don't know how
the
that
first
works.
union to endorse Zohran Mamdani. No other labor union endorsed Zohran until April of this year.
They bragging about, oh, we were the first
Right.
to endorse him when nobody
Right.
else did. Now everybody else wants to
Fucking
endorse
bears.
him months after.
Wow.
So
Wow,
this is them
okay.
stroking their egos, talking about how right they were because they endorsed Zohan like 6 months before.
Hey, Steph, that definitely looks like the guy that's been sucking dick.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the second in command under Sean Fain. Who is this effing idiot? This guy's why nobody can move on from the two-party system. Assholes like this leads him back into the illusion of choice. I couldn't have said it better myself. Let's see.
We also embraced ranked choice voting as a strategy. UAW members believed that embracing ranked choice voting in this election was necessary to defeat both Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo. UAW endorsed Zohran alongside Brad Lander and another candidate at the time, and we educated our membership.
You endorsed 3 people. It wasn't even Zohran.
Right.
They endorsed 3 people. So Zohran, Brad Lander, and somebody else. He said he didn't even mention the guy's name. So yeah,
about the importance of ranked choice
By the way, the heroic music is just annoying.
voting as a strategy. We also launched Dream.
Oh God, that's in the Dare font.
Yes. Remember that there?
Yeah. Do you guys remember Dare?
That's the drug.
Yeah, the Reagan administration did it.
Right,
it was don't do drugs or some shit like that.
And then that pushed everybody to use drugs.
Yeah, because I was in the early '90s. I was in school, and it was we had Dare T-shirts and hats and. Like, don't do drugs.
No, the thing is that you had these people come into classes with these suitcases. Yo, if you do this, you're gonna hallucinate that you the best boxer of all time.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yo, yeah, you know what? Let me get that then. I take it.
It's like it's in the Dare font. Today, this is a progressive union allegedly. Well, yeah, let's just use the Dare font from the Reagan administration.
That also looked like a Nightmare on Elm Street font.
Explicit instruction to not rank Eric Adams or Andrew Cuomo. Once Eric Adams dropped out of the primary, we made it clear that we still needed to keep Cuomo off of our ballots. We led the way in fighting Andrew Cuomo's false narrative that he had earned union members' support. The UAW region.
Yeah, Cuomo's a corrupt piece of shit. Yes, but Mamdani is not much better. Let's just make that clear. I mean,
no. If you got Cuomo against Trump, so Cuomo, he's our savior.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, I think Steph said in the chat. I mean, a lot of the progressive liberals were all Cuomo-sexuals. Everybody loved Cuomo 5-6 years ago. Now all of a sudden he's like the most hated Democrat in the world. And I honestly thought he would win this primary and become mayor because that way they can rehab his image. He can run for president in 28. But
I think because of what happened with Cuomo in the past, like his sexual assault, allegations and the COVID policies, as well as some of the endorsements he had that weren't good endorsements for him. I think that also played a part into why he lost.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
That debate that he had. Sandami just killed Cuomo.
Yeah, when Zohran, when he mentioned, I haven't had to resign due to sexual allegations, I haven't had to cut Medicaid, or that all. That was pretty much the end of Cuomo right there.
Ever see a skit where a Dare cop passed around some cocaine and disappeared? That was a funny skit. I've never seen that one, but I've seen other skits where with Dare. I mean, Dare didn't work. It was a disaster. Everybody did drugs. I mean, we all did in the 90s. So it wasn't like, hey, Dare worked. We all stayed off drugs. Of course not. All right, let's keep going.
9A and 9 together knew from our experience why Cuomo could not be trusted in City Hall. UAW leaders from General Motors plants in Western and Central New York joined UAW Region 9A members Zohran Mamdani and Brad Lander at a press conference in late May to explain how Andrew Cuomo, as governor, failed to support UAW members in times of need. He never stood on our picket lines, and he ignored our calls, and he abandoned us when we needed his help legislatively.
He abandoned us, guys.
Wait a minute. I thought he was the savior of Jesus of the New York.
What did you expect? Of course he wasn't going to do that.
Right. I thought he was the savior back then. What happened?
Yeah, he abandoned. So it's not even about all workers. It was about the UAW. He said he abandoned the UAW when he needed us. We needed him at our most trying moments. UAW. It's not about the workers. It's about the union itself. He abandoned us. I mean, this is not. This guy is pathetic.
To support striking workers. It is because of Democrats like Andrew Cuomo, someone who tells you one thing in front of the cameras and then stabs you in the back.
Yes, every politician does that.
Right. It's not because of the Democrats. It's because of...
No. It's every politician. They get your endorsement. They like Obama. I think Obama put on the jeans and the and the shirt, like a worker, but really he's a multimillionaire and went to
You
Harvard.
know, I don't even normally do stunts, but
Yeah, it's just a political stunt. And then as soon as Obama got in the White House, he did nothing for unions and nothing for workers, and in fact screwed us over during the recession, and passed that the American Reinvestment, whatever that it was, the stimulus bill, which screwed us over basically.
Today, an anti-union president like Trump sits in the White
Ladies
House.
and gentlemen, Trump is anti-union.
yeah,
He had to inform you of that.
yeah, and you endorsed Kamala, who is also anti-union.
Yes, politicians are anti-union by definition because they take that corporate cash. So of course they're not going to be pro-union, even if they say it on the campaign trails. I mean, it's true.
When the UAW endorsed Zohran, he was only polling at 2%.
Now more ego stroking here.
In May, the UAW became the largest union in the city to rank Zohran Mamdani as our #1 candidate.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have to give him.
Wow.
We have to do that. That's impressive. They figured out that Zohran was somehow endorse him at 2%.
The decision to rank Zohran first affirmed our membership's initial endorsement of his campaign. Some said we took a chance on a candidate with no shot, but we responded that the actual reckless gamble in this election was to endorse status quo candidates that caused the crisis working families face in the first place. So why did we endorse Zohran,
Good question.
given the odds?
That's me.
It's easy. It's what you, our members, demanded, and then you backed it up.
Oh, it was the members now, guys.
Right. I mean,
So,
The members.
Matt-
It wasn't us, the leadership. It was the
Matt
members.
Cookies, I think it's just you. I think it's just. Oh yeah, it was just you that was lagging. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, it is lagging. Hopefully, it's not anymore because
It wasn't lagging for me. It was. Fine.
Oh. hopefully it's not lagging anymore.
Zohran, through his time in the state assembly, was our champion. Region 9A represents 20,000 members across New York City and across 7 different locals in sectors like higher education, auto dealerships, legal services, nonprofits, museums, movie theaters, and manufacturing. Since he was elected to the state assembly, Zohran has shown up for all of our New York City locals at nearly every UAW rally and picket line in the city. He's shown up repeatedly for Local 2325 ALAA throughout their...
He's not even in this picture. That's
No.
why I was wondering, where is it? They showed this picture like he's there, but he isn't. I'm not sure they meant to show this photo, not in editing, but
electoral bargaining fight. In December of last
he's in
year,
this one.
Yeah.
See, what they like about him is that he shows up to their rallies or to their picket lines and does the grandstanding virtue signaling thing that I'm with you, trust me, I'm with you, the unions and stuff. Even though it turns out that as soon as he got the nomination, what did he say? We talked about this last week.
Yeah.
He went on MSNBC and said that he's going to raise the NYPD budgets for like 800%. Or to be fair, he said what's the word?
He was mentioning how Jews were afraid.
Yeah, anti-Jewish organizations. Not anti-Jewish. I'm sorry. I lost track of what I was going to say. Not Zionist. Those organizations that
Anti-Semitism. That's what.
anti-Semitism. Thank you.
Right.
He's going to give all this money to the anti-Semitism organizations, which pretty much to me translates to the NYPD.
$800 million, by the way.
Yeah. As soon as he got the nomination. So this is all just bullshit virtue signaling.
Zohran walked the picket line with Local 2179 members on strike at the Strand bookstore in their historic win. That same month, Zohran rallied with Local 259 members
There he is
fighting
again.
unfair labor practices at Mercedes-Benz
My
Manhattan.
favorite rap, baby.
In November, Zohran stood with
Again.
members beginning
There he is.
negotiations at NYU
He's
with
at
Contract
NYU,
Faculty
guys.
United. In May 2024,
Let's
Zohran
go.
walked the picket
More
line
rap.
with Local 2320 members on strike at Mobilization for Justice.
He was there again.
In December of 2023, Zohran stood with Local 4100 members on strike at Mount Sinai, which resulted in a precedent-setting contract for postdoc researchers in the country. Even as far
Somehow him showing up, he's implying him showing up to these picket lines somehow got them their contracts, which is, at the time, he was a low-level politician, so that's ridiculous to even imply, but they're implying that.
back as 2021, Zohran joined our picket line at Columbia University with local 2710 members.
I
We
agree
knew
with
that his message.
Let's see. Of course, he's going to be at these protests. He's trying to get elected. Once elected, he'd be too busy to show up or support. Exactly. Just like AOC, as soon as she got elected, she does she even go back to her district anymore? I get is she. Yeah, she's kind of like what's his face? The last guy that she beat, Joe something. He never showed up to his Crowley. Thank you.
Crowley,
He
yeah.
never showed up to his. He never showed up to the same district either, and that's how AOC won because she criticized him for not coming back to the district. Guess what she does? She never goes back to the district.
But she only shows up on the Queen's side of things.
Oh well, at least
Yeah, because this district. Yeah, she represents certain part of the Bronx. She represents my district, and then another side of Queens. So
just look
she
how
being
this dude.
Queens.
Just look how this dude dresses. He's not a poor person. No, he's a union leader, and there's an issue with a lot of unions where their leadership is out of touch with their membership. I mean, because the leadership are not workers anymore. It seems like they're more educated, so they're kind of out of touch. So I'm not sure. That's not true. Maybe that's not true for every union. I don't know. I'm not a union guy, but that's it. A little bit more of this.
And platform would resonate if we organized, if we talked to voters and talked about the issues that mattered to them most. Working class people were done with the status quo. They wanted new ideas.
That's why we elected another
It's going to
Democrat.
continue.
That's why they endorsed and elected another Democrat. Made him the nominee because they were done with the status quo.
Leadership that would be honest with them. We also want leaders that are willing to fight and not cede control to Washington and allow unconstitutional raids on our immigrant communities and illegal attacks on our civil liberties and the funding that keeps our jobs going. But we knew putting our name to an endorsement wasn't enough.
No.
If we treated this mayoral campaign like an organizing drive, something we're really good at in Region 9A, we had a shot to win and shock the world. So as a union, we led canvassing efforts with Zohran's campaign. It started with a UAW for Zohran kickoff canvass and a rally in the South Bronx. This canvass meant talking to our neighbors in rent-stabilized apartments, largely Spanish-speaking voters who for the most part had still not heard about Zohran.
Mira, Zohran los ama mucho. Los ama mucho. Vota por él. I mean, that's basically what they're saying. It's like, come on.
¿Por qué? They don't even say por qué. Like, why?
No.
They just say, okay.
Yeah.
Because of efforts like this, in the poll immediately prior to that canvass, Zohran was down 39-16 amongst Latino voters. But in the most recent poll before the election, Zohran had gained ground and led amongst all Latino voters.
Because that's all the UAW, or that's right. They're implying they did all this work. It's like, oh yeah, it's all us guys. We made sure that Zohran won Latino vote somehow. So yeah, believe us.
Organizing made a difference. Since then, UAW members have completed over 1,000 volunteer shifts in their personal capacity for Zohran's campaign. Additionally, our member-to-member coordinated campaign was far and away the largest volunteer.
I got a picture with a politician. Yay! I mean, that's how that came across. That photo of him smiling.
Cowboy hat.
Again, it's so phony. And I didn't even notice the cowboy hat. I watched this video initially before I covered it. I was going to cover it, but why is he wearing a cowboy hat? He's not in Texas. This is New York City. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, let me wear my cowboy hat. Somehow that's going to appeal to New York, But and not many cowboys up there.
Is he trying to say, hey, I play Red Dead Redemption 2, please vote for me?
I guess. I mean, that probably made more sense if he did it like that.
Drive of any union. We plugged our members in and they responded. The excitement was so high, we had members come in from across 9A to support, from Massachusetts to Connecticut and Rhode Island. I want to thank all of.
He's such a great politician that they had to come down from Rhode Island and Connecticut and all these other states to support Zohran.
Wow.
And Massachusetts.
Wow. Yeah, somehow you drove like 3 or 4 hours out of your way to support a politician. By the way, I'm not sure that's true or not. He does his claim. I can't verify that claim, but if you did, you're kind of a mark. Like you shouldn't be going out of your way to support a politician like that.
Who came in from across the region to support Zohran and our UAW members in New York City.
Wait. Go back to the previous.
Are you?
What?
Go back to the previous image. What the fuck is this edit? What the fuck?
It's like
smearing.
Right.
it's like the photo, it's not exposure. They could have very easily edited this out. I could do this, and I'm not even an expert at editing. I mean, this is bad. Yeah.
Region to support Zohran and our UAW members in New York City. Our UAW's for Zohran t-shirt became omnipresent across the city. On election day, we had workers from other unions stop our members outside of poll sites thanking us for endorsing Zohran, for setting an
I
example.
don't think that's legal. You're not supposed to be at poll sites like that on election day, especially with supporting a politician T-shirt like that. But the union, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's not legal for you to be out there with your UAW for
AEW.
Zohran. Yeah, I did. I said AEW. UAW support for Zohran. You can't have that T-shirt while in front of a polling station, but okay.
And they ecstatically said that they were voting for him, oftentimes against their union's own endorsement. Now our attention needs to shift to the November general election. We know that the billionaires and the political establishment is not going to let Zohran just walk into the mayor's office without a fight. We don't know yet what they'll specifically do, but you should know that this.
They're gonna call him a communist. They're gonna call him a socialist. They're gonna smear him. They're going to blah, blah, and they're gonna do the standard playbook.
Yep.
That
and the thing I just don't understand. Trump's attacking him. For being communist. He wants to deport him. Isn't the president supposed to be an ally for all Americans, not to side? Isn't that what a president's supposed to do? You know what I'm talking about.
In theory, yeah, that's what the president's supposed to be. But of course, the president is going to call him a communist fascist or whatever they say. They use both communism and fascism to describe politicians they don't like, even though that's two totally opposite sides of the political spectrum. But yeah, let's not many people took political science 101, so it's like, yeah. So let's see how much, a little bit more of this.
This election isn't over. We can't rest until November.
No, we can't rest.
So what are we going to do over the next 5 months? As a union, we are going to keep fighting for our future. We are going to keep organizing. We are going to keep taking on contract fights, and we are going to continue to make it clear to our bosses that we mean business, and we are not afraid to strike if necessary. We're also going to work with our fellow unions and bring them in with us in support of Zohran's pro-worker agenda and campaign. We are going to keep the campaign alive to make sure that Zohran Mamdani is the next mayor of New York City. Before I end, I want to recognize the tremendous leadership of Brad Lander. Brad was number 2 on our ballot.
Sacrificial lamb for Mamdani. So, because, there's no chance he's ever going to win. So it's like, because they have ranked choice voting in New York. So if you voted for Brad Lander, number 2 was Zohran. Since he lost, his vote would go to Zohran. So that's how he won. So he was a sacrificial lamb for this superstar, this next AOC, Zohran Mamdani. That's if he wins and becomes a mayor.
Next thing you know, Mamdani is going to be in WWE 2K25.
Yeah. No, but that's why I'm not buying any of this, any of the Zohran hype. And, he has all these policies, which on paper sound nice, but in practice, I don't think it's going to work. Like most of these policies. We talked about it last week a lot. Like, there was I didn't mention the city-run grocery stores, but I did mention the minimum wage hike and the was it the free bus rides or something like that? It was childcare. I specifically said that if the city funds childcare, then the private childcare companies would just raise prices exponentially because government will pay for it anyways. It'll make childcare more expensive for the taxpayers, but they'll make their money. Because most child care places are private; they're not public. So.
Oh my god! CBC voter doesn't know what AEW is.
Well, I don't think he's a wrestling fan, but yeah. So, but yeah, I made the mistake there, but yeah, he was a sacrificial lamb for Mamdani here, and even like the UAW, oh, thank you so much for, running and, taking votes away from other people and giving them to our Lord and Emperor Zohran Mamdani. So,
Let's go. So,
eh, yeah, I'm done with that video anyways,
oh,
but
man.
it
All
was
right.
Finally.
yeah, it was, and I
Wow.
just because I just wanted to get these thoughts on that because I
Yes.
think he's a union guy too, so I just wanted to get
Yes.
his thoughts on that. So go ahead, I'll let you go.
Yeah, big time. So mixed emotions, mixed feelings about it. To be honest with you, I had Zohan. I voted, so I had Zohan number two.
Uh
Number one, me. So I always write myself in because I always tell people,
yeah,
if you want to vote, right, and you be like, oh, I want to vote for the person I could trust the most, whatever the case, then vote for yourself, right? You know what I
yeah,
mean? Just tell people, hey, I trust myself. So I had me at number one, him at number two, and then somebody else.
okay,
And so here's my thing, and I'm gonna tell you a good thing. Uh, I'll be supportive of some of the things that he has, right? Um, but my problem with him,
mm-hmm.
AOC, because I'm like the Puerto Rican Malcolm X, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot of certain liberals behind that machine, and I think I posted on my X that I said that AOC reminds me of MTV. Remember MTV channel?
yeah, yeah, of
So
course,
and right, so MTV channel, they may seem that they're the anti-establishment, whatever, but at the end of the day, MTV is the establishment. They were
yeah,
created by Viacom or whatever that back then, and AOC is the perfect example. She is the establishment. You know what I mean? So with Sohan, I think he's just a
mm-hmm.
manufacturer, toy soldier, toy leader. Um, I'm mixed.
Yeah,
I'm mixed. If I was to vote, I'll vote maybe for myself again, because I thought about running for mayor one time.
yeah,
Hey, listen,
uh huh,
because I think what happens with New York City, what happens is this, that they need somebody that is the common. Sohan is not the common person. So let's see what happens. I'm just saying.
yep,
I'm mixed. I'm supportive with
okay,
some of the stuff that I like. Uh, but
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, so like I've said it. I mean, a lot of his policies on paper
Right.
sound amazing. It's like, oh shit. I mean, he'd be perfect a mayor, but in practice, I'm not sure how much a lot of this is going to work. I mean,
Right.
some of it may work, but maybe I'm wrong. But in practice, I don't know how a lot of this is going to work. Like for example, his rent freeze policy, because I know it's a Time magazine article, but this is probably the best. The only plan. Not many people have talked about his rent freeze policy, but Zohran Mamdani, the official Democratic nominee, ran his campaign largely on affordability, placing the New York City housing crisis at the center of his platform. A Marxist poll found 73% of New York residents believe the housing affordability crisis is a major problem in their communities. Hardly surprising, we consider New York City one of the most expensive cities in the world. It's also the wealthiest city and the wealthiest county in the history of the world, and yet 1 in 4 New Yorkers are living in poverty, and the rest seem to be trapped in a state of anxiety. Mamdani said this on Meet the Press on Sunday. See, he's going on Meet the Press, going on all these
Right.
establishment shows, and somehow he's supposed to be a revolutionary progressive.
Um,
There's no way. I mean, let's say he was an actual revolutionary. Somehow, there's no way they'd be going on Meet the Press and MSNBC and stuff like that. We've seen the city that needs to be more affordable for the people, build it out every day, or focus exactly that, and keep it on the focus on our economic agenda. We showed New Yorkers that it could be more than just a museum of what the city once was. Mamdani, who will face off against incumbent Mayor Eric Adams, who's running as an independent, has argued in his campaign videos that the housing-focused policies could be the difference between having you move to Jersey City and staying in the five boroughs. She says that Mamdani's popularity is a testament to how New Yorkers, especially the working class, feels with rising prices. New Yorkers are fed up with high sky rents and lack of housing choice. It's all over the country, not just in New York. And home ownership these days seems like a dream to achieve in another state. It deserves the focus of the next mayor. New Yorkers, blah blah blah. Try something different. He ramps up his campaign efforts. These are some of his core tenets of his plan to fix the New York housing crisis. So this is this freeze the rent policy. The rallying cry of Mamdani's candidacy has been called "Freeze to Rent." This has become more central as the New York City Rent Guidelines Board on Monday voted for a 4.5 increase for 2-year leases and a 3% increase to a 1-year lease. The Rent Guidelines Board, which sets the annual rent adjustments for rent-stabilized apartments, is appointed by the mayor, and Mamdani has said he would only appoint members of the board who will work with him to freeze the rent. Roughly 70% of New York City residents are renters, and around half of them lived in rent-stabilized apartments. New York City Mayor
sent her the links. Or the link.
You want to come on? Okay, I can do that. Yeah. So, what do you guys' thoughts on freezing the rent while I do this?
I mean, yeah, I just don't think. All in all, I'm just gonna say he's not gonna be any different than the rest of the Justice Democrats.
Right. And then like I ran in New York City. I could go on and on and on about why the rent is high. One of the things that I live in a area that it's a lot of immigrants, so there's a lot of landlords that tend to, let's say charge 2-bedroom 2,500. Guess what? There's a lot of immigrants, that right.
Jesus.
Well, guess what? That's immigrants that have 5 people who could be able to afford it. So
So that's where is hold on, I got you. There's the link. I sent you the link on X, so you can come on.
Come on down. Dun, 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 dun,
dun. Stalin's here. Yeah, I mean it's
Randy in New York City is crazy.
Yeah, it's 2,500 for a 2-bedroom. I mean that's horrifying. Whoa. Here's
and that's depending on the neighborhood too.
There she is.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, hang on.
So much for saying you weren't going to be able to come on today.
Well, the fireworks don't start till later.
No, that works. Excuse me, and my base was actually covering my logo there, so I had to switch things around.
Your thoughts on the video we saw?
Boring. And my count is up to 10 in the chat, so suck a dick.
Or as Stone Cold would say,
boring. New York City Mayor Adams released a statement saying he was disappointed in the board for not adopting the lowest rent increase possible, as he requested. But he also argues that calls to freeze the rent amounts to bad policy, and saying it was short-sighted and only puts tenants in harm's way.
The same Eric Adams who mentioned that one of the great things about New York City a couple years ago, he said, was mentioning about stuff like planes hitting the World Trade Center. Remember when he said that, Angel?
That was a good thing. The best thing about New York.
Not saying that thing was a good thing. It was just mentioning like so many things in the world, like in New York City. He was mentioning sort of that as like an example. Like Angel, you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah. But Eric Adams appointed everybody to this board. He's complaining about something that he appointed these people. So it's like, I can't believe they didn't do what I told them to do, but you appointed them. So Mamdani has cited former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio in his pledge to immediately freeze the rent, stating that the former mayor.
By the way, for those who don't know, Bill de Blasio is now with Nomiki Konz.
NATO Nomiki, right? I forgot about that. So. Yeah, the mayoral hopeful also said he would advocate for expand rent stabilization in Albany, the capital city of New York State. The recommitment to public housing and affordable housing, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go through much more of this because he's not going to do any of this, guys. I hate to be... This is a spoiler alert, but he's not going to actually do any of this. So this is the thing with the freeze the rent policy. Its problem is most buildings and most houses are privately owned. So you're telling private landlords like, oh yeah, by the way, you can't charge more, you can't raise rents by more than 2% per year. But what are they going to do? What they're going to do is going to kick out a lot of the poor middle class people from their houses and then raise the rents and rent to
Yeah,
wealthy
you
people.
peasants.
It's going to
How
gentrify New
dare you
York
have a
City.
house?
It's going to gentrify New York City even
Remember
more
when
than what it is.
remember when the shit lips were smearing Jimmy Dore that he owned a house?
Yeah, I know, Jimmy Dore. How dare you own a house?
Looks
I
like
don't know what
David's
happened to him.
disappeared. He'll be back. Probably an internet issue, but he'll be back in a moment. But yeah, I mean, that's my thought, on what's going to happen there, because most homes are owned privately. Here he is. He's back. Let me get him back in here. There you go. But yeah, I mean, most homes and houses are privately owned around the country. So you're telling landlords that, oh yeah, you can only raise the rents by 2%, and that tells them, okay, let me just evict most of the poor middle class who can't afford the rent increases, and let me rent to the wealthy who
Bam.
can.
Yeah.
Oh well,
which
you
is why I
poors,
don't
how
really
dare
like
you
them.
want to own a house? Why don't you just go suck a dick?
Which is why I don't
Meanwhile,
really
the people
like
who smeared
these
Jimmy Dore or
policies.
the fake progressives, they haven't said anything about what Bernie owning 3 houses or whatever that was.
No, of course not. Bernie, it's okay for Bernie to own 3 houses because he's
Yeah.
in the club.
Well, yeah, and
But,
Puglisi
people
was
like
like, well,
Jimmy-
one of them is like really small. Like he was trying to
By
That's
the
right.
way,
Suck a
That's
boring
right.
dick. It's a
That's
crazy
By the
time
way,
every
Kyle
Right,
Kulinski
right.
went after Joe Rogan for
Again?
telling Bernie that they paid $2 billion for Kamala Harris. You know that video we saw last week. He went after Joe.
Oh yeah, that's absurd. He needs to keep bleaching his hair to the point
That's
where it's
because
white and
Puglinsky
leave
literally
us alone.
sucks brains.
But this is another issue. Mamdani plans to address shortages by constructing 200,000 new units over the next 10 years. He says these units will be permanently affordable, union-built, rent-stabilized homes. He's pledged $100 billion to this effort, funded by his plan to tax the top 1% of New Yorkers to help pay for his ambitious efforts. Through city municipal bonds by activating city-owned land. He hopes to increase zoning for residential buildings and massively increase public spending of housing. In other words, basically, this is it's okay. So New York City has, again, I don't know exactly how the zoning laws and the regulation works in New York, but I'm going to assume, since it's a blue city, that it has a ton of red tape and a ton of regulations before you even build anything. So you're gonna have your environmental impact studies. You're gonna have people suing because they don't want public housing next to their private homes because it lowers the values of their homes. You're gonna have that issue. You're gonna have there's so much red tape that blue cities and blue states put into new building projects that they're almost impossible to do. So you're gonna build 200,000 new apartments in the next 10 years? Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I guarantee you're not gonna build even a fraction of that in the next 10 years, due to all the red tapes and all the money they're gonna have to pay the regulators in order to even get that happen, even get a fraction of that built. It's $100 billion won't be anywhere near enough. But again, I don't live in New York, so I don't know exactly how the regulations work there. But that's not going to happen. He's not going to be able to build a fraction of those homes when he's elected. I'm rambling, so I'm going to move on to the city-owned grocery stores. I have, again, that sounds great on paper. City-owned grocery stores where there's money, you don't have to pay property taxes on the
Right.
property, that has a city grocery store. You pay employees the $30 an hour that he's proposing. You don't have that much overhead because you're selling everything at what's the word I'm looking for? At cost, like wholesale prices. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. So they want to sell everything at wholesale prices. The issue I have with that is if you put those stores next to the Spanish-owned bodegas, like we know in New York City, there's a shit ton of them, and here in Trenton there are a ton of them too. If you put them next to the Spanish-owned bodegas, they're going to go out of business because they're not going to have the same privileges that the city-owned grocery store does. So they're going to have to pay property tax. They're going to have to pay the $30 an hour. They're going to have to pay. You got to turn a profit because it's a profit. You got to turn a profit. It's a business. So unlike the city-owned grocery stores, so they can't turn a profit because everybody's going to the city-owned grocery stores. And you're talking about the Puerto Rican and Dominican-owned bodegas are gone in the city, and that's going to hurt a lot more of the poor and middle class than the city-owned grocery stores, which ultimately I'm not. I said so. Those are the reasons why I would be against that, even though on paper it sounds like a great idea. Unless they put these stores that are not anywhere near the bodegas, then that's one thing. But I don't see how that can happen because there's so many of these bodegas in the city that that'd be impossible not to put a few next to them.
So Angel, I just wanted to mention, and Dave, I just wanted to mention that Trent Grisham just hit a home run to tie the game at 1 in the third inning.
Okay. And the Yankees have some offense
against
there.
the Blue Jays. I'm gonna lose my shit.
I thought you already
Yeah,
did.
they lose.
Right.
Well, yeah, those are my thoughts on the grocery
They were
stores
able
and
to
all
tie the
have.
game last night after being down 8-0, but they still lost.
They cheated. Come on.
They still lost that game though, so it wasn't that impressive. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I don't know what you guys think about the city-owned grocery store, especially because we didn't mention
I
that
don't think
last week. I
anything's gonna
didn't bring
change,
it up.
So those are my thoughts.
Didn't you show me, Angel? I think it was you that showed me where you have to pay to be in a grocery store.
Oh yeah.
And I was losing
Right,
my
that
shit
was
because I'm
2
like,
weeks
really? Go suck a dick.
we
Not gonna
discussed-
happen.
I think we did discuss that before.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago, I think, or last week on the show, where I found this video. I think it was New York City, where they had a store where you had to pay to get in and put your card in, and then you had to pay again for the food, and then you leave. So you pay twice, in other words. I wouldn't be surprised if more stores started doing this, especially if
That's okay.
people
I'll just starve
are
to death.
accepting
Go
of
suck
that.
a dick.
Yeah, you'll eat seagulls.
Where's my counter? Where's my counter?
It's here somewhere. I just have to find it. But yeah, so Trump's big beautiful bill finally passed
and we're all
after all
fucking
the
screwed.
political wranglings and the
It's a
fight.
big
Yeah,
bill.
so-
I love the bill. It's
It's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
suck a
tremendous.
dick. I swear I'm gonna suck the dick.
It's
gonna be
tremendous.
awesome,
Mhm.
It's not for
Great.
me. It's for the people. Not for me.
It's for the people. It's for the rich people. Did I say that? I bet it's for the poor people.
I need to turn up,
So let's
your mic a
go.
bit now.
Wow.
Why?
All right,
Am I not
so,
loud enough?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you were pretty loud to me. So this is from the White House. They put out a myth and fact, the one big
Nice.
beautiful bill. So
Oh boy.
the myth. I mean, let's go through this. The one big beautiful bill is just a tax break for billionaires.
Yes.
The one big beautiful bill delivers the largest middle and working class tax
No,
cut in
fucking
U.S.
no.
history. The
No,
president's
don't you lie! Don't you
will
lie!
put more than yeah. This is the president's legislation will put more than $10,000 a year back in the pockets of typical hardworking
Bullshit.
families. This is the most pro-growth, pro-worker, pro-family legislation
Bullshit.
ever crafted.
Bullshit.
Which, by the way, it wasn't crafted by anybody. It was crafted by think tanks
Yeah.
in Washington. It wasn't
AKA
crafted by the
rich
administration or by politicians.
So
in
that
Congress.
actually is not a fact. That's
All right.
actually a fucking bold lie. It's a lie. Bold-faced lie.
Boldface. This is another one. The one big beautiful bill takes from the poor to
Yes,
give
it
to the
does.
rich. Fact. Low-income workers stand to receive the largest
No, they don't.
percentage of reduction in their
Nope.
tax liability. The one big beautiful bill delivers the largest tax cut in history from the working and middle class.
No, it does not.
So it doesn't really address the
In fact, it
the
kicks
tax
a bunch
cuts
of
to the
people
rich.
off of
It just
SNAP.
addresses
And it also kicks a bunch of people off their Medicare and Medicaid. Go suck
Yeah.
a dick.
the one big beautiful bill makes life more unaffordable. Fact. The bill delivers bigger paychecks, expanding take-home pay by over $10,000 per year for a typical family.
Wow.
Not true. The one big beautiful bill hurts
Yes, it
low-income
does.
families. Fact. The One Big Beautiful Bill is the most pro-family legislation ever crafted. It would deliver
Name
bigger
one.
paychecks
Yes,
of
that's
more than
right.
$10,000
Right there, baby.
to boost annually every day to families. We are also expanding opportunity zones, whatever that means, expanded child
Whoa.
care access, and increasing the child tax credit, and creating newborn
That's
savings
what son
accounts.
says.
Jimmy-
Bullhorns.
True.
As Jimmy Dore would say, you know, that video I posted many times, him saying, "This fucking moron." What a
Really?
guy is.
Come on. No one believes your crap anymore.
Yeah, so
You guys are liars.
I don't know what opportunity zones means, but creating newborn savings accounts, that's pretty progressive. I mean, but that's even
No.
if it does that,
You know
which I
how
don't know
you do
whether
a
it actually
savings
does it or
account?
not.
Literally put it in the hands of the rich. You have a savings account.
So another myth: the One Big Beautiful Bill is just a handout to corporations.
Yes, it is.
Fact: this bill drives a blue collar boom with tax relief for workers, supports small businesses, and investments in American manufacturing. The One Big Beautiful Bill delivers the largest middle and working class tax cut in U.S. history.
Yeah, right.
It's the same thing over and over again.
And I'm 10 feet tall and bulletproof.
And there's a lot of this. Hold on,
Yeah.
I'll go to all
Oh,
this.
Jesus.
I think I've told you.
We'll be here till
Right.
next week.
But I want. There's a few more
I
things.
miss my vacation. You know.
The One Big Beautiful people literally die from the One Big Beautiful Bill. Millions will be kicked off.
I just said that. I just said that.
This is one of the most egregious, deranged attacks from the left, peddling fear over the facts. The One Big Beautiful Bill protects eligible Americans on federal welfare, including Medicaid, by strengthening the integrity of Medicaid, by eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse, and its resources can be refocused on providing better care for those of whom the program was designed to serve. Pregnant women, children, people with disabilities, low-income senior, and other vulnerable low-income.
Next thing they're gonna post. Next thing they're gonna post in. I just realized. Okay, now he's back again.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Yeah, he's
here.
back.
I was gonna say. The next thing they'll post the myth. Trump has a small dick, and then the fact.
Well, come on, Trump, put your dick out and let's measure it, right? What is this, a dick measuring contest?
All right, so there's a few more of these. There's a ton of these. There's a ton of these, but I'm gonna go through a few more of these. Myth: there's no fraud in Medicaid. Republicans just taking coverage away from vulnerable populations. Now here's the facts. According to the administration, in the last 10 years, CMS admitted that improper payments for Medicaid had exceeded $500 billion.
Yeah, because all these rich people get
the-
health care and they get Medicaid, and we got to get them off of fuck you.
In the past year,
Suck a
taxpayers
dick.
spent $56 billion on benefits for able-bodied adults abusing the system, and over a million illegal aliens receiving free health care on the backs of taxpayers. The One Big Beautiful Bill removes illegal aliens, enacts work requirements for able-bodied adults, and protect Medicaid for the fully vulnerable.
Yeah, you can't even. First of all, if you apply for unemployment, I know because back in the day I did apply for unemployment. You have to be an American citizen or have a valid visa.
Mouse.
There is no, illegal aliens are, always punching down at the illegals, you idiots, when you're the one who's bringing them here. Not that they shouldn't be here. They should. But again, we are all immigrants. But what I'm saying is stop punching down at the poorest of the poor. Stop it.
So myth. SNAP work requirements are unnecessary. Fact, only 28% able-bodied adults are on SNAP. That only 28% able-bodied adults on SNAP work. It's not true. I think the number is a lot higher than that.
I can't even
One Big Beautiful
for
Bill
SNAP. You know why? Because I live in my father's house. My father has Social Security, and if you take my income and his income, guess what? Too high.
Yeah, too high. Yeah, because it's above the federal poverty rate, which they haven't changed. They haven't changed since like the 80s. So that number needs to be a lot more higher than what it is, in order so more people can qualify.
Well, they wouldn't
for the
do
program.
that.
SNAP enrollment.
Fuck poor people.
No, of course not. SNAP enrollment remains high even in a strong economy, including millions of able-bodied adults who could work. In fact, In fact, almost 3/4 of everybody adults without
Wow.
dependents are on SNAP and have no earned income. The mission that the program has failed. SNAP was intended to be temporary help for those who encounter tough times, and are strengthening the program to serve who those need it
Yeah,
most.
rich people.
Blah blah blah. So
Have we seen enough yet?
Right.
Yeah,
Are we done
illegal
winning
aliens
yet?
don't
Have
get
we
federal
won enough
benefits.
now?
Yeah.
Ugh, suck a dick.
Illegal aliens, illegal burden taxpayers with billions of dollars in costs of free healthcare, welfare benefits. The one big beautiful bill ends Medicaid and SNAP fraud for those programs only to serve eligible Americans. The one that blah blah blah. So yeah, so there's a bunch of these, but
Too much of those things.
excuse me. Yeah, so there you go. The White House putting out all these lies. They're at least they're lying, but they're trying to debunk the
They
lies
lied,
from the
they
left.
cheated.
Right.
They all lie.
Yeah. So what I don't know if the work requirements made it to the final bill or not, because it just passed like a few hours ago. But there's no, I don't know one way or another where the work requirements for Medicaid and SNAP have made it into the
Yeah,
bill.
and these are
so.
people who need it the fucking most. People like me who can't even fucking qualify, and yet you have to work. Well, I'm not gonna work for fucking free, motherfuckers. Yeah. So where exactly are you getting this bullshit? Huh?
Yeah.
Remember when
so
George Bush, when I think he was talking to a elder woman or something. She said she had to work 2 jobs, and he was like, "That's incredible," or something.
That was incredibly American.
Yeah.
I went, no, that's actually sad that she can't spend time with her family, and she's an elderly woman who should be on Medicare and Medicaid, and she should be on Social Security, not having to worry about having 2 fucking jobs.
Yeah, that's the problem. But the work requirements is from the age of 18 to 64. So they made it, up to 64 years old where you have to work in order to get benefits. And you have to work 80 hours per month in order to qualify for benefits now. Starting next year, not immediately, but starting next year, apparently.
Yeah, just like Orca said, or whatever that pronounced it, just like what he said.
They want to build a tropical paradise onto the graves of the children.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to the Israel situation in a moment, but I just
the what?
What are you drinking?
Oh, a little beer.
I was gonna say, did you bring enough for everyone? No, I don't drink beer.
Yeah, I had mine before the show, so that's why I'm kind of.
Are you tipsy? We haven't tipsy yet.
Let's go.
Yeah.
How many fingers am I holding up?
Let's get 3 or 4. I mean, because you're kind of like cutting in and out, so I couldn't tell. But let's get to the big, beautiful bill, military spending.
There we go.
On the beginning of the show, I put the military, U.S. military machine continues to churn.
Yeah, she's covered in her pants.
So
pancakes.
Yeah.
So House passes Trump big beautiful bill that would bring 2026 military budget to over $1 trillion. The bill includes $150 billion in additional military spending, and $113 billion of it will be used to supplement the 2026 military budget.
But of course, what's going to be even worse is, all the Democrats who, hate Trump and all that stuff, they're still going to vote for his budget as usual. So.
Yeah, of course. The House on Thursday passed a massive piece of legislation dubbed the Big Beautiful Bill by President Trump that includes extra military spending to bring the 2026 military budget to over $1 trillion. The bill passed by a vote of 218-214 in the House. Only 2 Republicans, Representative Thomas Massey and Brian Fitzpatrick. Only 2, and every Democrat voting against it. So 2 Republicans, of course, Thomas Massey's in there because
I know
he's
what you've been saying about Thomas Massey, and I know I've been reading the tweets about don't trust, and I understand, but still, you still got to give credit where credit is due.
Oh, I definitely give credit.
He's one of the few.
I definitely give credit.
Few principal politicians
I'm
in Washington.
like Stone Cold, DTA, don't trust anybody.
Yeah, I get it.
Oh yeah, I did. I am too, but
he's one. He's the. I guess I could say he's the most sane politician.
And that's saying something.
He's mostly consistent on his beliefs. So he voted against this, even though Trump is going after him. He's like, oh yeah, Thomas Massey, terrible, horrible. Got to vote him out. You know,
really
he's against
reminds
me.
me of a wrestling angle, guys. This is Trump now has turned heel, and now he's going after the baby face, right? So this is all by design. Massey is now the baby face. Oh, I'm going to speak out to power. Yeah, okay.
Now, I'll say this about Massey. The only thing I can say, he's in Kentucky. So a lot of people forget, Trump is in New York City. He's from New York City, right? So if you tell people, if you tell Republican voters 15, 20 years ago, hey, be careful of that city slicker from the big cities. They don't have no interest. Mm-hmm. But then here comes Trump. Then I think Massey's one of those old school Republicans from the South.
Yeah.
That might, you know what I mean? That might clash with that big city dude, you know? So.
Yeah. That old school, 20, 30 years ago, Republican. Do not trust the big city guys. So he's one of those.
Don't trust those city slickers, right?
Right. From New York City.
Yeah. What I was thinking when they said Kentucky was no, I think that, and no, I totally get it where you guys are coming from when it comes to Massey. But again, this feels like it's all by design. I just saw one of the Trumpers who voted for Trump actually posted something on X and was saying, "Oh, well, maybe we should question," because they had it like a close up of his ear, and his ear is fine. His ear is fine, guys. That's because he bladed. But it literally says on the meme, it says maybe we should question his assassination attempt. And I went, duh.
I mean, I question
my comment to them was, duh, no shit, Sherlock.
You know.
So, Orca says Kentucky is a history of whiskey running.
Well, of course.
That's why. I mean, I got some, little way. Oh God, I had moonshine years ago, and I was like, because my stepdad used to make. He's Puerto Rican, so he used to make moonshine, and one day he gave me a shot. And it's like, oh yeah, it's moonshine. Okay, I had plenty of shots. I did that.
On the floor.
I mean, I was like smoke coming out of my ears.
Like in those movies, yes.
That's what I felt like.
And that's that's what they call pitoro.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's how. Right.
Forgot to turn on my camera.
And then, so let me tell you, that's fire. Like.
Yes. Yes,
is it as bad as vodka?
And he was laughing his ass off.
I mean, because the proof. We're talking about like 100, more than 100.
Yeah.
It's really high.
Right. And vodka's like what, 80 proof?
It's like
for the most part.
And vodka is
how about grain alcohol?
There's some. It's not 100% alcohol, but he started like, why didn't you tell me it was moonshine? I assumed it was.
Well, he wanted to surprise you.
Yeah,
and make you fall in the floor.
I could imagine that. Oh my God! When somebody gave me that, I was like, "Yeah, go ahead, Tens. You Puerto Rican, right? Okay." It was just this much, and then I'm like, "Go boom!" And it makes it. I'm like,
I go awooga.
I'm like doing the John Cena, like yo.
Oh no! Oh fuck John Cena. He can go suck a dick too. All right, sorry. I'm sorry.
And every Democrat voting against it,
doing the old John Cena gimmick.
That was freaking awesome, yo.
Yes.
We'll talk about that more on Saturday. But yeah, that was hilarious. I love that. We were going to talk about it Sunday, but I was crashing out, and Witchy had allergies.
I was sneezing up a storm. I made my cat look like an amateur.
So, but before I brought it up, I want to thank everybody for their support. You guys here in the audience as well. I was beyond grateful for that. I was crashing out, It's like, and I want to thank everybody.
You got my number, big brother. Actually, Angel is my third work husband. Snow and Kid are the other ones. I have my little brother up there and my big brother down there. So anyway, if you got my number, Angel, call it or text it.
I know. The legislation includes 150 billion in additional military spending, and the White House plans to use 113 billion of it to supplement the 2026 military budget, bringing it to approximately 1.006 trillion, representing a 13% increase from 2025.
Let's go.
The only reason why they did that, is because Trump wanted to be the first president with $1 trillion military budget. He wanted to get over that number.
I'm buying
And brag
stocks.
about
I'm
it.
buying stocks now as we speak.
No, don't buy stocks.
I'm buying stocks.
You'll be poor then.
But no. But if you do buy the defense contract,
If they'll let you, if they will let you, otherwise you'll have a sniper on the roof.
Yeah.
No, the funny thing is that if you're in a job that has a 401k, there's a defense portfolio there. So I think that's like your default. Like if you start working, I think that's like your default portfolio. If you don't change it,
the Golden Dome, really?
If you have a 401k through a job, they're buying defense contractor stock and oil stock. Like they're buying, they're buying oil stock because oil is
the
always
one with
guaranteed.
the blue chips, it's called. That's Meta, Microsoft, all that. So if anyone that's listening, if you have a 401k, you look at your other thing because you're gonna be supporting this as well. Basically,
I had to use my 401k to live off of, and then it didn't get me very far either.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
150 billion would go to several military priorities of the Trump administration, including the so-called Golden Dome, which is one of the most unfeasible things I've ever seen.
Yeah, because ask Israel how the Iron
Ronald
Dome
Reagan
is doing. Oh, by the way, they got hit by Iran.
It's malfunction.
Yeah, it's like Trump. It's like Trump stole from Reagan's Star Wars and made it much more grander, even more impractical than what Reagan did. A plan for a sprawling military defense system in the United States that are sure to kick off a new arms race and be a boondoggle for weapons makers. Which, again, if you have money invested in military contractors, because their stock price is going to way up after this.
Make it rain.
According to Breaking Defense, that's if you have money. Because if you don't, then you're not going to. Doesn't matter to you. But,
die, poor person.
it doesn't matter to me. I got no money. Doesn't matter to me. I have no money, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy though? They keep saying 150 billion. Yeah, it takes one plane that makes like $15 billion. I don't know. If these are real numbers. I don't know.
Which is why they got to keep raising the military budget.
One plane.
According to Breaking Defense, the money going to go to 29 billion for shipbuilding, 25 billion for the Golden Dome.
Nice things for poor people.
As people would say, healthcare, please.
And they're like, we just can't have nice things. Sorry, we have to go build 100 billion planes.
Orca says he's cashed out in 2023, so I'm assuming to his 401k.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. 25 billion for munitions, 16 billion for innovative technologies such as drones, AI, and low-cost weapons, 15 billion for nuclear modernization. So to modernize the nuclear bombs. 12 billion for the U.S. military buildup in the Asia Pacific, which means putting more military around China. Which here we go again.
Here we go again.
And 9 billion for air superiority, whatever that means. So we already dominate the air.
It's that 9 billion for a plane. One plane, $9 billion.
Yeah, they want to buy more planes.
I mean, what is it? That B-52 bomber? I mean, that costs like a.
The government has to have the toys, y'all. They have to have the toys.
What I was saying was air superiority.
Yeah, that's what
I only know that from the game mode in the Battlefield games.
It's a good thing nothing has started here.
Right.
Nothing here.
So Orca said my neighbors are fine.
I was gonna say, if you hear a loud bang, it's me.
Today.
I gotta go.
This is why I did the show today. One, it's raining, so there's no fireworks coming in today. And two, they usually on the 4th, I can't do any shows.
I mean, it's super freaking loud,
boom all night long around here.
Well, the good thing
I thought that our local here in PA would actually have them tomorrow, and I was gonna be like, I don't think I can do it, Angel. And then I forgot that the fireworks don't usually start till about 9:30 ish.
Well, the good thing I live in a predominantly Muslim neighborhood.
I don't think.
Yes. Yeah. So fireworks.
I was gonna say I got Christians around me.
Fireworks might not be, and then you'll be surprised though.
A couple
sometimes.
pagans.
Yeah, But
I got a couple of pagans across the street. you know.
So let's get to our fuck Israel segments of the
And at
week.
the end, should we talk about the Microsoft layoffs?
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
really?
we could if you have a few minutes.
Microsoft laid people off again?
Yeah,
Oh,
Is anyone shocked?
Laid off 9,000 workers,
their
including
gaming
a bunch of
division
the,
is pretty
Xbox
much gonna
division.
die. So
and they're doing it because they want to get ready for your head to explode. It's because they want to include more AI or whatever it is. They were saying.
So they want to be like
Mhm.
Meta and be in the virtual
Yeah.
world, huh?
they want they.
I thought
So we'll
those
get to
dogs,
that,
those
but
AI
first,
dogs were bad enough they could throw fire at 30 feet.
You know what's crazy, Alex? I just
Yeah.
realized that I think that they canceled Cortana and replaced it with somebody else.
Oh, the search thing, kind of like Alexa.
Right, yes.
Yeah,
Hey,
the
Cortana,
AI
Alexa.
or
I think she was laid off too. Replaced somebody else.
Now, so
they got Cortana
report-
based off the character or whatever it is from the Halo franchise.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
the Halo
yes.
game.
Still,
yeah.
suck a dick. Okay.
So, report estimates that the U.S. used 1.25 billion worth of THAAD interceptors to defend Israel from Iranian missiles.
They couldn't
The
even
report from
use
Israeli
Iran
newspaper
correctly.
Haaretz, Iranian missiles. It estimates that the U.S. used 93 interceptors from its THAAD missile defense system to defend Israel from Iranian
they
missiles
still
during the
got
12-day
through.
U.S.-Israeli
They still
war
got through.
against
They still
Iran.
hit Israel.
Yeah, a lot of them still got through. So, again, I don't like the framing. It says the
No,
war is
war ain't
over. I
over.
suspect
Yeah, so many
this
Trump
war is going
supporters
to
were saying
continue.
Trump
but-
just ended the war. Like, what?
What?
You
No,
saw
It was
WWE.
a temporary ceasefire, and that was only because
WWE.
it could be.
Yeah.
It could have been.
Yeah.
I doubt
At
it.
13 million per interceptor, that means the U.S. launched an estimated 1.25 billion worth of THAAD munitions during the war. The Israeli military also uses Arrow 2 and Arrow 3 interceptors, which jointly produced with the U.S. The Haaretz report said that the total cost of the Arrow and THAAD interceptors used are about $1.5 billion.
Here's what
And it
I
didn't
think
work.
is the real reason for the temporary ceasefire, and it's because Israel literally got their asses handed to them, and they need time to clean up.
Yeah, right.
That's
So,
exactly what it is.
somebody
Mhm.
make that they made that thing where they said that if Iran would have kept on, that's it. Israel would have been gone.
I mean, they literally are
Yeah.
hanging by a thread at this point.
I remember Bernie still thinks that
Because-
Israel has the right to defend itself.
So does every other stupid, ignorant politician who sucks
that's
dick.
because
Come on, little brother, where you been?
the U.S. didn't want to, at least Trump, the U.S. didn't want to put boots on the ground in Iran, which is what they're going to have to do eventually if they continue this war. And then we're going to have to occupy Iran for the rest of our lifetimes, all of us here. So, because Iran is like 2 or 3 times the size of Afghanistan and Iraq. So,
I remember
let's see.
you don't know if the number of the population in the country are trying to topple.
This is a THAAD interceptor here.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Iron Sheiks there, man. Come on.
Iron Sheik. He's a little dead, yo. And I don't think they have a wrestling ring where they're going to throw the Iron Sheik.
I mean, we gotta give
Iron
him
Sheik.
respect.
and then Nikolai Volkov.
Yeah.
Wow.
Volkov was.
This turned into pro wrestling talk. As soon as I get on, it turns into pro wrestling talk.
Well, he did that thing with those big things. Oh,
Yeah.
you're jabroni.
That's why I love you people.
All right, so let's see. What else. So let's get to this bill. This is the consequence of the bombings. Iran's president signs law suspending cooperation with IAEA in response to
I
U.S.
thought it said
Israeli
IKEA
airstrikes.
at first.
I thought it said IKEA too.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, that's the International Atomic Energy Agency, which is from the UN. So they're going to stop cooperating with them after the bombing.
Run!
Run! The cops are after
Yeah.
me.
No, I think
It's
that's
Show
trend.
me money where I am.
It
I
sounds
like my
like
beach
Yeah,
house.
no, it sounds like cops. It might be ice.
I know her address.
Yeah, it could be.
It could
could
be
be
ice,
ice.
bro.
Oh, except that
Yo.
Angel is legal, yo. He got a birth certificate to prove it.
I'm a Puerto Rican citizen, so
Yeah.
I did not my American.
So so Tehran also recently cited the IAEA resolution as a reason to suspend cooperation, saying it was using an excuse to Israel to launch the war, which 100% correct. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian signed into law suspending Tehran's cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency, a step taken in response to a 12-day U.S. airstrike against Iran, which involved the U.S. airstrikes on an Iranian nuclear facility, which mostly failed, by the way.
That's the
Because they still
funniest
have those
part, that they
facilities.
failed on the attack.
Right.
That is
He's swinging and he misses.
Yeah, that is funny. And they hit it, but apparently they're
They
still
hit it
using
and
the
crit it, and they
facility.
missed.
So
Wow.
yeah, they missed. Under the law, which was approved by Iran's parliament on June 25th, Iran will not allow IAEA inspectors into the country unless the security of its nuclear facilities and its right to peaceful nuclear activities are guaranteed, which is subject to the discretion of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. Iran's Press TV also cited the politically motivated resolution that was passed by the IAEA Board of Governors a day before Israel launched its initial attacks on Iran as a reason for suspending cooperation with the nuclear watchdog. The resolution claimed that Iran wasn't living up to its commitments under the Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, which, by the way, Israel is not assigning to. They have not signed that treaty to this day. But that's okay. Iran has to sign it, but Israel doesn't. And it was mainly based on alleged nuclear activity from 20 years ago, which posed no risk of
Mr.
proliferation.
Blondie. Who's Mr. Blondie?
I think if you look at what he was saying below, we were discussing how Michael Madsen.
Michael Madsen he's referring to.
I don't.
I was the student council at WSU when I watched Reservoir Dogs. By the way, a fantastic movie. And one of my favorite movies, Quentin Tarantino.
Sorry, never saw it. I'm a chick.
Did you see Pulp Fiction?
No, I never saw Pulp Fiction.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
I've seen bits and pieces of it,
okay.
yes. Apparently it's funny, kind of like Spaceballs.
Django Unchained's my favorite for Tarantino.
Yeah, that one's good. That was good too. I mean, with Jamie Foxx and stuff, that was good too. But the thing with Tarantino movies, they're overly violent. They're like over the top, which I don't mind. But
also he's a Zionist, unfortunately. So
yeah, Tarantino is a Zionist. So of course, even though he's an independent producer and stuff, but still, I mean, to be in Hollywood, you have to be a Zionist. So. Press TV said that the resolution was used as an excuse for Israel to launch the war, which we know. Both the U.S. and the IAEA had no proof that Iran was working towards a nuclear weapon before Israel launched the war. Iran also has alleged that Israel had obtained the name of Iranian nuclear scientists it had killed from the IAEA and has been critical of the watchdog for remaining silent on Israel's secret nuclear weapons program, which is 100% true. The IAEA hasn't said dick about Israel's secret nuclear program.
Wow, let's go, Angel.
Hey, I ain't the only one saying
that's the counter. That's the two.
Hey, go suck a dick. Anyway.
That's true, though.
Everyone.
Israel is estimated to have somewhere between 90 and 300 nuclear weapons, which to this day, Israel has not acknowledged their nuclear weapon program. And its nuclear arsenal gets very little attention since neither the U.S. nor Israel acknowledges its existence. To this day, they still have not admitted they have nukes, but somehow Iran is the problem. Before the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran, Tehran made it clear that there'd be consequences related to the oversight of its nuclear program if nuclear facilities were attacked. Since the U.S. pulled out of the Obama-era Iran nuclear deal known as the JCPOA, Tehran has decreased its activity of its civilian nuclear program in response to, the U.S. and Israeli pressure. The U.S. withdrew from the agreement in 2018, which Trump did. And after over a year, Tehran slowly began increasing its uranium enrichments beyond the 3.67% limit set by the deal. By the way, Joe Biden was president for 4 years, never got us back in the deal. So Democrats run their mouths about how Trump withdrew, which is true. But Joe Biden never got us back in either. So Democrat Joe Biden's also the problem in this.
And
It wasn't
Congo
just Trump.
wishes he had voted for Biden.
Well, of course. I mean, he's a lunatic Democrat.
Because he sucks a lot of dick.
But let's see. Don't play in their war games. I mean,
War
games.
in their war games.
Woo, that's coming up too. Shit.
Iran brought its uranium enrichment to 4.5%, but raised it to 20% in 2021, following the Israeli assassination of Iranian nuclear scientist Moshin. That name. Later in the year, Iran began enriching some uranium at 60% in response to Israeli covert attack on its Nance nuclear facility. Hawks point to the 60% enrichment to claim that Iran was racing towards a bomb since it was a step away from enriching at 90%, which is needed for weapons-grade uranium. But Iran made it clear that it's willing to reduce enrichment levels back down to 3.67% as part of the deal with the U.S. that includes sanction relief. Now it's unclear if negotiations between U.S. and Iran will resume, as recent talks were used as a cover to keep Iran off guard before Israel launched its bombing campaign, which is exactly right. Which is which I talked about. The U.S. was not negotiating in good faith because they were just basically stringing the Iranians along until Israel was ready to bomb them. And once that happened, I mean, the Iranians pulled out, obviously. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said that Tehran needs time to decide whether to engage in more negotiations with the U.S., which is the consequence of the bombings. Now there is no negotiation, and why would there be? Why would you trust the Americans? You wouldn't if you're the Iranians.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it sounds. Alex, you ever play that game Fallout?
Yeah, I played the games.
Yeah, so there's a song that one of those songs, Uranium Fever. That's what basically this is all about. It's not all about that uranium.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, in Fallout 3, you have either main quest or side quest where you can ignite the nuclear bomb. You can store it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, the U.S. is a cult of the Illuminati.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. So, we're going to go real quick to another story here on Israel. More of their evils in Gaza. Let's not forget they're still doing that. Israeli airstrikes kills Gaza hospital director alongside his family. So, the Israeli attacks have killed 70 healthcare workers over the past 50 days. On Wednesday, an Israeli airstrike on an apartment in Gaza City killed Dr. Marwan El Sultan, the director of the Indonesian hospital, as the Israeli military continues to kill medical workers and decimate Gaza's healthcare infrastructure.
Enough for you to call it genocide now, huh? You gonna say it?
Nope.
No. He never will, because we reviewed Bernie Sanders' words last week. He'll say every word except genocide. According to the Associated Press, Al Sultan was killed alongside his wife, his daughter, and son-in-law. And other reports said his sister was also among the dead. According to Haaretz, the Indonesian hospital has been out of service since May 21st after Israeli airstrike destroyed its generators. Al Sultan has been quoted by many media outlets warning of the catastrophic destruction of Gaza's medical infrastructure. I'm not sure if this is him or not. Yeah, it looks like this is him. His body is covered up, but this is tragic. According to Healthcare Workers Watch, a Palestinian medical organization, Al Sultan's killing marks the 70th healthcare worker murdered by the Israeli military in Gaza the past 50 days. I know it says killed, but I put murdered there because
they're the evil ones. Gotta go.
Yeah, it's more, brutal. Orca says, I'm a medical worker. Okay, you work in the field as well. So this is tough, This is tough to even read, but it's necessary to cover. The killing of Dr. Marwan El Sultan by the Israeli military is a catastrophic loss to the Gaza and the entire medical community, and it will have a devastating impact on Gaza's healthcare system, said Muhath Alis, the director of HWW. This is part of a much longer and systemic, atrocious targeting of healthcare workers sanctioned by impunity. It's sanctioned by the U.S. Let's keep it real. That's why they get all this impunity, the Israelis. This is a tragic loss of life and also an obliteration of their decades of life-saving medical expertise and care at a time when the situation facing Palestinian civilians is unfathomably catastrophic. The Guardian report says among the healthcare workers killed the past 50 days were 3 other doctors, the chief nurses of the Indonesian hospital and the Al Nasir Children's Hospital, one of Gaza's most senior midwives, a senior radiology technician, and dozens of young medical graduate and trainee nurses. On June 6th, the first day of the Eid, 9 healthcare workers were killed in one day in airstrikes in the north of Gaza, where they were sheltering with their families. By the way, the purposely targeting of medical workers and healthcare workers, that's a war crime. All of this. But Israel will get away with it. They always do. A May 25th Israeli airstrike on a home in Khan Yunis killed 9 out of 10 children of doctors Allah al-Najir and Hamadi al-Najir. Allah, I assume that's how you say that, was working as a pediatrician at the Nasir hospital when the strike hit her family, and Hamadi was injured in the attack, succumbing to his wound a few days later. Allah and her only surviving child, 11-year-old Adam, who was badly maimed, by the way, has since been evacuated to Italy for medical treatment. So there you go. More targeting of healthcare workers and their families. It's like Trump said during his first campaign, where we're going to target their families, the families of terrorists, the families. We're going to target them.
Unbelievable.
So this is what Israel is taking that strategy to the extreme.
You understand that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, he doesn't. So let's see. So we
gotta end generations. Gotta stop here somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it for you. I'm not doing it for me.
So the U.S. is doing some virtue signaling, and they're ending some shipments in Ukraine. Let's not forget the Russians are still bogged down in Ukraine. So U.S. officials have confirmed the Pentagon has halted the delivery of some air defense missiles and other munitions to Ukraine. A step being taken over concerns that U.S. stockpiles have gotten too low. What an excuse that is!
Remember that one,
right?
Yeah, what an excuse that is. It's like, oh yeah, our munitions have gotten too low, so we can't give you any more, but we'll give it to Israel, no problem. Oops. The decision was made to put America's interests first following a DoD review of our nation's military support and assistance to other countries across the globe, said White House spokesperson Anna Kelly.
Right.
No, of course, yeah, all the money. That's why Zelensky is kind of pissed off. Like, hey, where's my stuff? You know,
what about me?
I'm not Jewish enough. No.
No, you're not Jewish enough. I mean, Trump is giving all the money to Netanyahu here.
Ask Zelensky.
Ask everybody in the fucking world.
Right.
The administration officials did not specify which weapons shipments have been halted, but reports says it applies to 155 millimeter artillery rounds and GMLRS munitions for HIMARS rocket systems.
You try
whatever that is,
and
Stinger Stinger anti-aircraft missiles, AIM-7 air-to-air missiles, Hellfire missiles, and munitions for Patriot air defense systems. Jesus, that was a mouthful. But yeah, they allegedly stopped all these munitions to Ukraine. The U.S. recently used Patriot missiles to repel an Iranian attack on the Al Udeid air base in Qatar, which was retaliation for the U.S. bombing of Iran's nuclear facilities. The chairman of Joint Chief of Staff, General Dan Kane, said that he believed that the defense of their base in Qatar was the largest single Patriot engagement in the U.S. military history. And are you kidding me? I mean, it's like, oh yeah, that was our greatest operation to defend that airbase, random airbase in Qatar. Politico, which first reported the halt of the shipments to Ukraine, said the decision was taken in the direction of Elbridge Colby, the Pentagon's policy chief, who is a China hawk and wants the U.S. to focus preparing on a war over Taiwan. Here we go again. So it's Russia, Ukraine from the Democrats, and now the Republican answers
China.
China,
China.
Taiwan. We have to
Okay,
embrace
China.
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 Nothing to us. Why are we trying to attack them?
Right.
Geopolitical reasons. We want control over the Asian Sea, so Japan is already our puppet. So it's like, well, China's opposing us, so we have to do something about it. That's what it's about.
Yes.
It's geopolitics. It's just that's what the Defense Department
China.
cares more about than anything else. The Department of Defense continues to provide the president with robust options to continue military aid to Ukraine. It consistent with his goal of bringing this tragic war to an end. Bullshit. He said he would end the war in 24 hours.
He's still continuing it, so.
Yeah, he would end the war in 24
that didn't
hours.
happen.
Remember he said it during the campaign?
Right.
I want
Of
people
course.
to stop dying. That's what he said.
Yeah. He could end the war in 24 hours. All he has to tell Zelensky is, oh, yeah, we're not giving you any more money or weapons. He'll immediately do a peace deal with Putin. Immediately. He'll give up all the land Putin wants just to end the war. But we keep giving him weapons, which is why the 24-hour thing didn't happen. And it wasn't going to happen either. At the same time, the department is rigorously examining and adapting its approach to achieving this objective while also preserving U.S. forces' readiness for the administration's defense priorities, he added, which is China. The weapons shipments being paused were previously approved by the Biden administration during his final months in office. President Biden approved an enormous amount of military aid for Ukraine that would take years to be delivered. Biden approved the weapon shipments under two types of aid mechanisms. The Presidential Drawdown Authority, which allows the U.S. to ship weapons directly from the Pentagon stockpile, and the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, which authorizes the U.S. to purchase arms for Ukraine. So there you go. The administration is allegedly stopping some shipments to Ukraine, and the reason is China. A lot of people in the Pentagon want to focus on China and Taiwan instead of focusing on Russia, Ukraine, which they see as a failed war. So they want to do what they did in Russia with Ukraine. They want to repeat it with China and Taiwan. So there you go. It's the same mistakes that the Democrats made, Trump is making. And he's doing it on purpose, to be fair. It's not really a mistake. I'm calling it a mistake, but it's not.
It's all
I'm wrong
scripted,
on that.
man.
It's all wrestling.
The CIA
Yes.
systematically killed youngling like their movies told us. I guess you mean young people. Yeah, I mean,
You're young
so
whippersnapper.
let's see.
No, so if you go after China,
Uh-huh.
does that mean that Amazon will be gone as a company?
Let's hope.
Well,
right. I mean, that's how they
Amazon,
run everything.
Amazon is getting bigger and bigger.
Everything.
So they moved the operations out of China.
I just know that a lot of stuff comes from China, from
It's
Amazon.
China.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the army is trialing autonomous bombing with small drones in Germany. Nice. The Trump administration threatens legal action against CNN for coverage of the app to track immigration officers. Blah blah blah.
Ice. We're still with ice. Oh my goodness.
Ice.
Right.
Sorry. Not trying to do that.
Right.
But,
I mean,
first thing that pops in my head.
So
Right.
one more before Russia, Ukraine submitted completely opposed settlement memorandums, Russia diplomat says. So no agreement yet on a peace deal. We'll probably never get one unless the U.S. demands it. The settlement memorandums that Russia and Ukraine exchange are absolute opposites of each other. During a speech to the press on June 27th, Russian President Vladimir Putin said that our country is fundamentally ready for a third round of talks with Kyiv. We assume that the agenda would include a discussion of draft settlement memorandums of Russia and Ukraine. At this time, these documents are total opposites, and the negotiations should aim to find a way to reconcile those positions. According to her, the failure of the Ukraine Western conglomerate on the battlefield is obvious. None of the goals were set by the West by using Ukraine as a military foothold to confront Russia has ever been or ever be achieved.
Yeah.
Nope.
So that's it. That's the whole article.
So the war,
Right.
Oh,
yeah, that's the whole article. But Yeah, Russia surpasses all Western countries in terms of GDP growth in the past 20 years, according to their envoy. I'm not sure what TASS is. Oh, it's a Russian news agency. Okay, I'm like, what is TASS? It's like, it says Russian news agency. Okay. Oh, this is funny. I'm sorry. I got it. Actor Steven Seagal may be eligible for $80 a month pension as a Russian citizen.
Good for him. He's a pussy. Ask Kurt Hennig. I mean, you have to have a
look at that. Look at that big gut he has there.
Right.
No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. You guys saw that episode where Kurt met Steven Seagal in an airport and squeezed the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't see that, guys, go back in my archives. Trust me, go find it.
Steven Seagal is a fraud. Like
He's such a fucking pussy.
Martial arts is
He's so bad.
it's like it's fake.
Like,
His
a lot of
martial art
actions
is not
He
real.
doesn't do on his own. He needs help to do it. You know.
Right.
Yeah, his I watched a lot of his movies in the 90s, but it's like never. I was a kid. I loved. Oh wow, Steven Seagal is such a badass.
No, he's not.
Like, no, he's not. After,
And actually, Kurt was
as
the
an
better
adult,
man and
and
left the scene. And like he came back and was like, "Yeah, sorry, dude."
Like I'm convinced that Chuck Norris would be able to do much better scenes.
Oh,
on his own.
absolutely. Chuck is
Chuck-
Wasn't much for Chuck Norris.
so
either.
Kurt. So Steven Seagal thought he was
Yeah.
a tough guy, so he met Kurt Hennig and he's
in
like
an airport,
he squeezed
in an
his hand
airport, and then he
yeah.
finds out that Kurt's a wrestler. He starts squeezing his hand. Like, what the fuck are you
Yeah.
trying to do?
What are you doing? And Kurt like rolled him up in like
Oh
a
my
pretzel.
God,
He could
Kurt,
do
like,
nothing about
beat
it.
the shit out of this boy.
And he apologized.
Yeah,
to
he,
Seagal, didn't
he
he?
actually
And-
felt bad. Like he thought Seagal was going to be a pussy and call the cops over. So Kurt's like, "I'm out of here." And then he comes back later. He's like, "Dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry." I would have been like, "You're sorry I didn't beat your ass
So
right here in front of everybody."
yeah, so in the last 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I figured we could bring up the Microsoft layoffs in the gaming industry. That's totally like they buy up all of these game studios, like, and they create all these jobs, and they make all these promises to gamers and talk about how we're going to create all these first party content, all these games. We're going to have the Perfect Dark Zero remakes. We're going to do all these
not a
amazing
Perfect Dark
games.
Zero remake. It was just
perfect.
Perfect Dark,
watch
isn't
how
it?
you use that word.
a
Perfect.
Perfect Dark Zero remake. It was just a Perfect Dark reboot. Then.
Okay, yeah,
Hey,
the
watch how you
Zero
use that word
was
perfect.
okay. I got it. Sorry about that. I screwed up. But yes, the Perfect Dark remake. We're going to promise all this stuff, and nothing
we're
ever
just gonna
came to
suck your dick.
fruition. It was a disaster.
No, you're not.
And they fired. They started firing all these. They closed down studios and laying off all these developers,
Over
these
9,000
makers,
employees,
and
by the way.
they've already laid off 9,000. And I'm be surprised
And
if more.
earlier
come.
in the year, they already laid off 6,000.
Right, I think Cap.
So overall, the year total, as of right now, it's 15,000, which is just.
Yeah, most of that's from the gaming division because the new Microsoft CEO doesn't give a fuck about the gaming division. He wanted to shut it down when he took over, but it was profitable at the
CEOs
time,
don't
so
give
he
a
couldn't do
fuck.
anything
That
about it.
Now,
should be the
here's
motto.
other thing about Perfect Dark, though. I don't know if you saw it, Angel.
Really?
What?
That's the game is
I
called.
know.
I
I'm
mean,
teasing.
Anyway,
I'm teasing.
I don't know if you saw it, Angel, but you remember that the gameplay trailer we saw from Perfect Dark a year ago at the Xbox? That
Yeah,
gameplay
yeah.
turned out to be fake.
It was fake.
It was-
It was fake. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
even a real trailer of the game. It was like bullshit that
I
Microsoft
can't-
put out.
They're still
Anyways,
doing that. We
this-
saw it with Anthem, we saw it with Cyberpunk, and now we're seeing it with Perfect Dark. It's just like, come on.
Now, wait, hold on. So
Hey,
I'm
we
gonna say
can't-
this, Alex. Though, all these developers, we have a good Gears, a good Halo, a good whatever the case might be. I don't know, man.
Before E-Day is coming out.
None of these games are coming out.
Maybe next year.
They promised Halos. They promised Gears of War. They promised
like
none
I
of these
said,
games
Gears
to
of War
come out.
E-Day, that looks promising.
Right.
But
Yeah.
speaking of Halo, even employees from Halo Studios are now being laid off.
Yeah.
Just
So what? There's no
I
Halo.
don't know what's going
that's
on
why
with that,
I'm
but just
saying.
Right.
my point is that
Yeah.
remember, Halo Combat Evolved was the reason why Xbox was so successful in the
Right.
industry. how that's happening.
Yeah.
It's just what it's
Now Halo, like even Halo's in question. It's like their biggest franchises, Halo and Gears
If
of
you
War,
look-
in question. Anyways, the reason why I wanted to bring this up was because now all of a sudden, Microsoft laid off 9,000 workers, but they're applying for more H-1B visas, which are the visas for for foreigners to come in here to the country. So they laid off a bunch of Americans, but they want a bunch of foreigners to come
an
in to work
American
for them.
company
They work cheaper.
firing American workers to bring in foreign.
And Trump doesn't say
Yeah.
anything.
Ta-da!
Trump doesn't say anything.
So much for ICE.
No.
Right.
And it makes my
Yeah,
decision
latest
much
rounds
more
of-
much easier to get a PS5 instead of an Xbox Series X.
Yeah, when GTA 6
be
comes
honest-
out next year, I'm getting a PS5.
Yeah, to be honest,
anyways.
I be careful with that because I service a lot of PS5s, and they're really dirty. I mean, they got creepy crawlies in them coming out. I'm like, ooh, put it in the bag.
Now, I just want to mention,
Well, that's because
you know, I
people don't
mentioned to
clean
you,
them.
That
we
is the
both
fence,
agreed at the time that we would get the regular PS5 over the PS5 Pro, but
Doesn't
now,
matter. I've
Yeah.
done all.
but now I've been thinking, maybe at some point, maybe I want to get a PS5 Pro. Yes, I know about all the issues that the console has, but I would probably wait till like the holidays when the price comes down, so then I would get the disc drive. The
All I'm
other-
saying is just you're gonna have to do regular maintenance on it. Trust me, I know. I service them
I
at
know,
my
yeah.
job because
I also
they
wanna
You have
the
to.
fence.
Yeah.
I also
Major-
say that because I want to make there's a good chance that GTA 6 could look better on the PS5 Pro than the regular PS5.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's probably
yeah.
going to.
And also,
But yeah,
really
I
quick,
mean-
I also learned that I cannot play Madden on PS5. I throw a fucking interception. Yeah, so I'm like, fuck this! I can't play Madden.
I have not touched a
Well,
Madden in nearly
I was
15
testing
years
the
at
guy's
this point.
PS5 because what the hell did we do with it? I think my boss soldered the HDMI or something.
We're still making the NFL 2K games.
No, I cleaned it and because it was overheating, it wouldn't stay. He said it was only staying on for like 10 to 15 minutes. I cleaned it and I
That's
needed to keep
dirty.
it on, and I was trying to get the computer to play Madden for me so that we could just make sure that we were testing it right. So it's like, no, I don't want to do that. So I'm like playing Madden, going, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Pass the ball. Okay, pass the ball. I got a first down. Woo-hoo. All right, then I threw a fucking interception in the end zone. I'm like, son of a bitch. I really suck at Madden.
Yeah,
This isn't chick, yo. Okay.
yeah.
He sucked dick at Madden.
This is the thing.
No, I was playing the Steelers. All right,
This
the
is the
Steelers,
thing.
man.
This is the thing about PS5s, especially. You have to keep
Yes,
them
you
clean.
do.
You have to, or else then they're gonna overheat because the filters
Because the
are
fan
gonna
has to.
and
Yeah,
that
the
part of
fan has
system's
to
gonna
work
overheat.
harder. Take it from a technician who
Yeah.
literally services them.
Mhm.
I clean them out. Like I had one that had like 3 inches of dust. I'm not fucking shitting you.
Yeah,
And
well, those are
literally,
bad.
it was like I was dragging the dust home. That's how much dust it had, and it was nasty and filthy.
Jesus.
But I got it working again.
Hmm.
So I mean, even after cleaning it,
Yeah, that's all it is. If you
Mhm.
clean it, if you keep
Yep.
it clean, it's fine.
Yep.
They work fine. But yeah, anyways, Microsoft laid off 4% of
Yeah.
their workforce, mostly in the
Microsoft
gaming
go suck a dick.
division because they didn't lay off anybody else. While not the largest recipient of H-1B visas, Amazon takes that title with
Of course they do.
9,200.
Barely.
Microsoft still placed seventh out of the top 10
How
U.S.
else is
corporations
Jeff
with
Bezos
around
gonna get
4,700
cheap labor?
approvals.
I'm just saying, how else is Bill Gates going to
According
get cheap
to-
labor as well?
According to U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services data released
Man, I
earlier
got
this
that song
year,
stuck in my head.
Newsweek reportedly reached out to Microsoft for comment, but of
course
course
they're
there's
not
no
gonna
comment.
Thanks, CBC. Now I got that
Nothing,
So,
song.
we don't
yeah.
know nothing.
Ice,
Yeah, so
baby.
no comment, no nothing
Okay.
from Microsoft. So there you
I
go.
really hope Xbox
Yeah.
goes out of business.
Oh, come on, Alex. Come on. Alex.
At this
Really?
point,
We
no,
service
but at this
Xboxes
point,
as
it's
well.
realistic.
And I can tell you they're no different. They're a little different from
Yeah.
the PS5s, and I also service PS4s. But they're more intricate, and I can say more of a pain in the ass to
And-
service because they're just literally
And
just
fine, they have their issues
computer
too.
parts.
We know that the 9th generation consoles overall have been a mess, but
Yeah.
Right.
Xbox is just they
Yeah.
just keep digging their graves further and further and further. It's just they
Well, and you have the the PlayStation's coming out with 4, 5. There'll be a PS6. Someone asked me about that. When is PS6 coming out? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I don't even have a PS5. I just service them. I just kind of make them work.
If I had to guess, I would say as early as 2027.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. And then, of course, they're going to have all kinds of guides to take it apart, So you'll have people like me taking them apart, cleaning them, and then I don't solder, but my boss does. So, like, she'll fix the HDMI ports and stuff, and then we'll clean them and make sure that they work.
Yeah. The reason why I say 27 because GTA 6 come out next year. And usually there's a remaster.
Well, that's GTA.
No, it comes out next year.
We've been talking about it by now.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I only saw a fucking trailer one.
But it comes out next May. So about a year after that, the new system usually comes out. So they do the GTA 6 remaster for the PS6 will be coming out a year after that. So that's what I'm saying. I think there's going to be a remaster.
I thought you were talking about like GTA 5 remaster. I thought you were talking about.
No, I'm talking about GTA 6.
Biggest game I play is like
for the new system.
Shut up.
They're going to remaster for the PS6 and
Hey, I learned that I suck at Madden, okay? Not a big gamer.
You play Dark Souls.
I don't play that.
Oh God.
Again, I don't try to, like, if I get a gaming laptop, like I had one, I had to replace the thermal paste in it because it was overheating. Game consoles and computers, or gaming computers, I should say, at least laptops are pretty much the same. Only the game consoles have liquid metal as thermal paste, and the computers have just thermal paste. Well, anyway, this guy had a game all in Japanese, and I was like, I'm just gonna let it go because
as I showed you, my computer's different, so my monitor.
Yeah.
Is it a desktop though?
Yeah,
it's a desktop, right?
Yeah, but you've seen what my monitor is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I can show you guys my monitor. Only I can't take my camera off of my all-in-one. But I mean, we do service a lot of game consoles. Too. We do. We even do Nintendo Switches. Although the one came in and it's like it needed a completely different screen. I'm like, there's no screen here. Screen was totally torn out. So I mean, just take it from a technician's perspective. Be nice to your game consoles. Don't try to shove in the HDMI port. People. Oh
beat the hell out of
I can't tell you.
Yeah. Yes. And they don't clean them, so they're really dusty too.
And there's bugs in them.
It's gonna break records. It's gonna be all over.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping to get a PS. I need a laptop first, which is why my donation links in the link description, guys, below. Try to help out, get me a new computer. I greatly appreciate any donations you guys give. Thank you very much in advance. So I'm trying to get a PC, a gaming laptop first, or a PC, whatever. And then after that, I'll get the PS5 after that, which I'm not going to ask donations.
Computer you're trying to get?
I don't know. It's a laptop. I said gaming, but and I just need a laptop where
you have a powerful.
Or are you looking for like an Alien or?
Oh no!
I would stay away from Omen. I've had so many Omens that I've had to service.
Oh well, I don't have. My mom has an HP Victus, which so far it's okay. I'm the one
that's pretty awesome.
So. Yeah, the HP Victus.
I have everything in my home is HP, guys. So like we have HP all-in-ones. I have an HP all-in-one. That's what I'm talking to you guys on. But it has 64 gigs of RAM, so it's good for my shows, right?
Holy crap!
Technically, this could be used as a gaming computer.
Yeah, you could use it like
that. My son just got a new HP all-in-one. It has 16 gigs of RAM. My dad has an HP all-in-one. I have 2 HP laptops. I mean,
I've been using this one. And I think this one is probably what I end up buying.
Yeah, I would stick with HP. Yeah. I mean, Dells are okay. I have a Dell laptop as a work computer, and my son has kicked it, and it still keeps going and going. So I will say Dells are pretty good. I would stay away from Lenovo's because I can't tell you how many Lenovo Idea pads we've had where they literally just go and the motherboards are screwed up.
I'm guessing the Yankees are going to get swept because right now they're losing 6-3.
No.
It's the same thing year with the Yankees. They get off to a hot start. They struggle in the summer, and then they kind of come back in late August and September, make the playoffs, and we'll see what happens. Last year they got to the World Series.
Dun, dun,
Last year they got to the World
dun.
Series, and this year, who knows?
And
Oh, no, I
remember,
forgot.
everyone, we'll be back not next week. Sorry, we'll be back tomorrow. No, not tomorrow.
No,
Saturday.
Today's Friday.
No, I think
we'll be
today's
back
Friday, but
Saturday
it's
for
Thursday.
Pro Wrestling Talk. We'll talk about it, pro wrestling.
We
as
got
we
plenty
always
to
do.
talk about
Hey,
there.
Gabe, can you make Saturday?
I was just gonna ask. Wait, were you asking me or David?
No, David.
I know
yeah,
you can
was
make
just
it,
gonna
Alex.
ask- I was
Yeah,
just-
just tell me the link.
All right.
Okay,
Saturday
well, I'll
night,
send you
8
the link.
p.m. Don't be late.
Yeah, and I'll be
so-
on at 9.
Okay,
At 9.
one more.
little brother.
I forgot to mention, the Knicks hired Mike Brown. We were talking
Yeah.
about it on our chat, and it's like, why?
I used to go to school with a Mike Brown. That's funny.
Really?
But
I don't think it's this
I
Mike
really
Brown,
saw
but
my response to you, Steph, when you liked, I believe it was Angel's comment, and you're like, you don't even know who Mike Brown is. I don't know. If you,
No, but I can pretend, little brother. I can pretend. Remember,
So-
everybody, suck it dick.
Right.
what are the Knicks really going to try to get LeBron James because he played for Mike Brown at one point?
Hello.
That's what it seems like. You know,
I don't want LeBron James. He's past his prime in my.
Oh, he's way past his
Boom,
prime,
boom,
but
boom.
you know,
And
but
he's a complainer. You know, he makes excuses a lot.
Oh, he's a
That's
bitch.
That's
he's
what
like
he
41.
He's like John Cena, who just won't shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
LeBron, he runs his mouth
that's
on.
his character. But
Yeah,
I don't
and,
care. It's still
and before
why
we
is he
go-
a bitch heel.
what I was
Yeah.
going to say was, LeBron, people were doing the LeBron James Michael Jordan comparisons. Stop
No.
it.
no,
Stop it.
zero, no.
Right.
If you want to compare
Yes.
LeBron James to Kobe Bryant, I can understand, but not
Yeah.
fucking Michael Jordan.
Right.
He-
I have a hard
Oh,
time
really?
comparing LeBron to Kobe even, but I get your point though. Yeah. But yeah, LeBron, if he comes here to New York, he takes over the team. He's like, yeah, I don't want this guy, I don't want that guy. I'm gonna start complaining, you know. So that's what he
It'd be
does.
Like
every-
it'd be like Aaron Rodgers again. Next
Oh,
thing you
God,
know,
that was a
LeBron,
train wreck.
LeBron James, he's going to carry the American
Wait,
flag.
didn't Aaron Rodgers go to the Steelers or something?
Yes,
Yep.
he signed
Oh,
for like
man.
16 million for this season.
Yep.
Play
Yep.
for the
Oh,
Steelers.
yeah.
Steelers.
We're like the ever since Ben Roethlisberger left, it's kind of like been a backstory for all these fucking washed up.
Steph, you should follow the YouTube channel Urinating Tree. I know it's a funny name, but I don't know if you've heard
That's
of that.
yeah, he does good work with. He's a Steelers fan too.
He's a Pittsburgh sports fan, so yeah.
He does great work taking down, like brutalizing the Steelers, and like.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
the
they had
Pirates.
some good years, okay? They had some good years with Ben Roethlisberger.
Well,
That's
Ben-
what I was
Right.
watching. We won
But the
Super
thing,
Bowl 40 and 43. All right.
yeah, the thing
Yeah.
with Big Ben was
That made-
he's like
Six.
he had Trump's sloppy seconds with Stormy Daniels.
Ew.
Yeah, I mean he wanted a kiss from Stormy Daniels after she had sex with Trump and she wouldn't kiss him, and then
Oh,
he
my.
awkwardly stood in front of his hotel room, her knocking on the door begging for a kiss. Like, how pathetic! You're married, dude. He
Wow.
was married even then. So,
Well,
but he
who was?
wanted Trump's sloppy seconds.
Who?
Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was.
really?
Yeah, he
Who
was.
wanted
Yeah,
to fuck Stormy Daniels? Are you?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
wanted to screw Stormy Daniels like 15 years ago. At this point.
right.
Wow.
Yeah, he was known. He was known to.
And
be
he was
that too.
married with his kids, right?
Around that time, yeah, I think he
Yeah.
got married because he had the rape allegation too before
Mhm.
that. So he
Yeah.
got married just to had kids
that
for
was
a
all
publicity
bullshit
stunt.
anyway.
Yeah, it was a publicity stunt. So yeah, so we could keep talking all night, but I do have to go.
No, I have to go too.
I just want to
Almost
say,
9:30.
I really hope the Giants don't have another. ugly
I can't hear anybody.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear us now?
Oh, it's me.
Okay. I was gonna say, I just hope the Giants don't have another ugly season. I hope the Russell Wilson thing pans out.
Oh, we can't hear you
I
now.
can hear you guys now.
Oh, okay.
Jackson
Can you hear
Dart.
me
Jackson Dart.
Yeah,
Jackson
we can hear
Dart.
you now.
Uh-huh.
Did
Yeah,
you guys
my,
hear, did you guys hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard you about the Giants. Something about the Giants. Are you talking about the San Francisco Giants, or are you
New
talking
York
about
Giants.
What did you say
Oh,
about
fuck
the
the
Giants?
Giants,
Before we go?
Baby, let's go. Do
fuck
your-
the Giants?
We
Let's
got
go. Do your Giants.
Go
No, we got-
Steelers!
real quick.
Go
We got
Steelers!
Russell Wilson for replacing Daniel Jones. It's like Russell's past his prime, but he's better than
Yeah,
Daniel
way
Jones.
past his
So-
prime. He was literally who was on the he was on the Steelers last week or last
Yeah,
year.
last year. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, he
That's
fucking
good.
sucked.
But he
It's all
he had a
washed
better
up.
year. He had a better year than Daniel Jones on
And
paper.
what do they
so I'm
think
like,
Aaron
yeah.
Rodgers is going to do for the fucking Steelers? They think he's going to win? He could
No,
win.
he's like-
He won one Super Bowl with
Aaron-
the Packers.
Aaron Rodgers
Maybe-
is too busy. He loves going on Joe Rogan's. He's too busy doing that. Then
And
he doesn't
Pat
care about
McAfee.
football.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he's
Pat
too bad.
McAfee,
He's
yeah.
He's literally too busy sucking a dick, and that is what I will leave you with. You guys have a great 4th of July, and
Yeah.
remember, everyone, suck a dick. I'm sorry, I
Alright.
gotta go, guys. I'll tell you
Okay,
later.
I'm wrapping up anyways. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. My links are below for donations for a new computer. And thank you, D, for joining us. I hopefully can see you Saturday for Pro Wrestling Talk. If not, we'll see you next week, or whenever. And
Right.
we'll see you next week for Angel in the afternoon. Have a nice weekend.